Now listen, I know y'all, you watch this channel, you listen to this podcast, you are someone who is already likely working out in the gym, you've already got your groove going, you've probably been working out a really long time, and maybe, hey, there's some of you who are brand new to this game, but you want to know how to do things the right way, the healthy way, the smart way to get the results that you want. But today I want to zero in on my original crew, my original crowd that I have talked to from the time I have started this channel. And that is my ladies, particularly my ladies over 35, you over 40, you over 50, you just trying to keep this body together. Now listen here. Whether you're a man or woman, you can still benefit from today's message. But let me ask you this. For those of you who have been working out for a long time, raise that hand high in the air if you have ever ran into strength plateaus. Oh, baby, yeah, listen, I've been doing this a long time, honey, okay? I've been writing programs for a long time. One thing I know is that there comes a point where you have pushed yourself, and then you might hit a roadblock of a plateau where you can't break past whatever PRs you're at. Maybe you're doing that bench press at 125 pounds for about 8 reps. Ladies, that feels great, but man, you can't get up to 130, 135. What gives? Maybe you're finally able to squat and deadlift your body weight, but for some reason, you can't get any more past that. There's just a roadblock that's in the way that's not allowing you to build up the strength that you need. And I want to help you to solve that today. And it's going to be through periodization and through progressive overload. 2 really important techniques that when I, as a fitness professional, learned about them and how to program with these, it unlocked my ability to change my clients' bodies no matter what their goals were. And in particular, help those who are at strength plateaus to overcome them. Oh, baby, that is what we're going to be talking about on this episode of Redefining Bodybuilding. So let's talk about for a moment why plateaus happen, because plateaus isn't just a weight loss thing. We hear a lot about this happening when you're at a point, you're trying to lose weight, you've been doing really great, and then all of a sudden your body stops responding. Nothing that you do seems to allow it to move past the weight that you're at. And it can be so frustrating. Well, guess what? The same thing happens to the body when it comes to strength training as well. I think that when you don't understand the full scope and the science, the real nitty gritty of the physiology and the biology and the anatomy behind training, you don't think beyond just the level of just building your muscles and getting them stronger. I mean, you would think that lifting weights and doing what you have to do, showing up to the gym and being consistent will help you to see gains, strength gains in particular, continuously. You're just going to keep getting stronger and stronger. But the truth of the matter is that doesn't happen. And why doesn't that happen? Well, did you know that not only are you supposed to be focusing on your body's muscular system when you're building up, but you've also got to consider your central nervous system. And it is that CNS for a lot of folks that causes you to go into plateaus because your body isn't ready for the next level on the deepest layers of it. So why is this happening? Well, the central nervous system, just like any other part of your body when you're training, does fatigue. And you can burn it out by training too much, overtraining, and lifting too heavy all the time, not allowing yourself rest and recovery. We talked about the importance of knowing what overtraining is and how to prevent it here on the channel. Now, when your central nervous system is completely fried, it does not allow your body to fully activate muscle or muscle activation. So you can't power through those workouts. You're not getting every muscle fiber firing in the way that it needs to, contracting in the way that it needs to be able to push against that resistance. And we start talking about explosive power and strength. That's become so important. The body has different energy systems and stuff that it needs. And we're talking about strength training. It's the heavy loads at the lower rep ranges, that heavy load that you fail out by between 1 to about 5 or 6 repetitions. That's what's going to build up your strength in specifics. And that is very taxing on the central nervous system. Training like this, hard and heavy all the time without breaks, without undulating periodization and all that stuff, is the most detrimental thing that you can do. But guess what? A lot of you are in that more is better mindset. Wrong. Wrong. Sometimes more is simply more. It's not better. So we need to take a look at the fact that you might need to scale things back in order to see the gains that you want to see when it comes to your strength. And I know that's hard for so many of you to do, to think about, whoa, Roxy, you want me to take a break? Yes, honey, I do. But we're going to talk about how to implement periodization and get into exactly what it is in our second segment.
Like what you're seeing here on my channel? Well, this is just a taste. I want to invite you to come join my exclusive email list. Get even more tips and advice on training, nutrition, mindset, motivation, and empowering your femininity, all sent directly to your inbox. Stay inspired and be the first to access my newest articles, personal blog posts, podcasts, and videos. Don't let social media dictate when or if you get my stuff. Let's get directly connected and walk side by side on your journey to your best body and best life yet. Best of all, it's totally free. Head to rockstarfitness.com/email list. See you soon.
Now, periodization, what is it exactly? Well, first off, I'm going to tell you, it is my favorite way to focus on program design. I specifically, as someone who was certified through the NASM, National Academy of Sports Medicine, went through this extensive course way back in the early 2000s of how to train in a periodized way to get results for clients. And what you want to think about with periodization, it's kind of like a step, right? So you start off, you build a base and foundation, and each step of the ladder that you go up in, when your ability gets better, when you get more advanced, has its own different rep ranges, has its own different sets, rest periods, tempo, and more. So you use variables in controlled ways of cycling between, let's say, high intensity type of training, high rep type of training, and then cycling into something that, let's say, focuses on muscle building, 8 to 10 repetitions or so. Or something that focuses on explosive power and strength, going into 1 to 5 repetitions, moving that weight as fast as you can. But in order to get to each of these phases, you have to follow a periodized approach where you build up a pyramid step by step by step. Now, when you unlock the magic of this, not only does it work wonders for those that are just beginning, but for those of you who are more advanced, it is like a magic formula that never fails when you understand implementation. And this implementation isn't just something that people like myself who've done this for years and years understand. It's something that you can learn too. Now, one of the benefits of periodization is that it can help to prevent overtraining and it can help to break through plateaus. Just like when you hit a fat loss plateau, what do you got to do? You got to take a step back, right? You got to take a look at your calories, maybe raise your calories to maintenance for a while and sail in with that. Maybe scale back your workouts a little bit because you may be overtraining the body. So you got to reset, right? Well, with periodization, you approach that same kind of thing when it comes to your training. It helps you to prevent overtraining because when you start to realize that, man, my body is taking a little bit longer to recover, that I need to go ahead and maybe do some cycles where I do lighter loads, high repetitions, more rest periods, you have the grace to do that because periodization allows for it and it plans for it too. Now, when it comes to those strength plateaus, again, you start to train yourself in phases. So maybe you'll have a phase where you do focus on heavier lifts, lower repetitions for a specific amount of time where you're trying to go from point A to point B. And then you have a planned cycle where you're going to step off, lighten your loads, up your repetitions, do more rest periods, and things that'll help your body to recover. So periodization, again, is the key to the problems that so many of you are having in trying to get over these strength plateaus. Now, why am I addressing this to my ladies out there, particularly my ladies who are in their mid-30s and up? Well, here's the thing. For so many of you, you've been training for a long time. You watch this channel, I see what you're watching. You love those bodybuilding videos. You follow other competitors and people out there who have fitness channels that are about really getting out and training. So I know you're trying to learn how to train better and train smarter. So this video is right for you. For so many of you, you have been pushing yourself and you've been training in a way that's not necessarily geared for us as women. There is a biological difference between us and men. Oops, I said that in 2023, somebody's going to rip my head off and tell me that I don't know anything about science. when science tells us in scientific studies themselves that have studied men and women that we are inherently different. But I'm just saying, we need to think about these things because the way that we train can impact us hormonally in a way that throws off our sexual health and more. It throws off your thyroid and your metabolism because we are greatly affected by training. So when you learn how to master periodization in your own approach, boy, does it blow the game out of the water. You start to take control of how your body gains muscle, how your body progresses, the amount of just strength gains and more that you see when you understand how to put this in action. And with so many of you in my audience approaching your 40s or 50s, and you may be going through menopause, we don't talk about that a lot. Weight training is very important for the balance of your body, your hormone, the muscle tissue, and more. So the more you can understand how the body works, the better you can approach training with a smarter mindset, a smarter mind that thinks more on a deeper level than just showing at the gym and just waiting to play the game. The better off you're going to be at the end. So in our next segment, let's talk about how to put all of this together and just have a plan that's going to get you past that plateau and have you feeling like Wonder Woman once again.
Are you looking to get into the best shape of your life? You want to change your body. You want to take control of your eating. You want to look and feel your best. And you know right now there's something that's missing in your approach that's just getting you frustrated and getting you stuck. And you're ready to do something about it? Well, honey, listen, I am taking on new clients right now and I want to talk to you. Come on over and set up a complimentary 20-minute call so we can discuss exactly what's getting you stuck, get you out of your own way, and get you on a program that's going to change your life and change your body for good. This fitness stuff isn't just about diet and training. Oh no, honey, it's about mindset. And you know me, we talk about spiritual fitness as well. But what does that mean and how do you apply it to what you've got going on? The only way we're going to find out is we talk about it, honey. So make sure that you go ahead down below, click the link or scan the QR code that you see on your screen right now to set up your complimentary appointment and discuss how you and I can team up to get you to your goal.
So I want to talk about five tips that you can apply right now to include periodization in your programming and see it do wonders for your strength training. Let's go ahead to tip number one. Now, a lot of you out here are just floating around trying to figure out what you need to be doing when it comes to the gym. And because today's society, particularly post-pandemic, fitness is everywhere. You can go ahead and find yourself a fitness app and it'll give you workouts. You can go ahead and buy some ebook that a coach or some kind of influencer has online. You could watch videos of people doing stuff and all of that is great. But I'm going to tell you something that people probably don't want to tell you when they're just selling you one-off products is that for a lot of you, that stuff works to a great degree, especially to get you started. But when you've been doing it for a while, sometimes the need for customized training is really important. And when I say that, knowing how to set up a program that's tailored to your needs specifically is the most important thing. Showing up at the gym and just doing 3 sets of 15 or 4 sets of 12, that's great and all when you first start, but the more advanced you become, the less that stuff works over time. You need to go ahead and mix it up intelligently. And the way I say it like that is because I hate mixing it up. Your body is not confused. Muscle confusion is not a real thing, okay? Your body, your muscles are not confused. You are. That's what we always say here, all right? However, knowing when to variate things is so important in helping your body to get past plateaus and to keep on performing as best as it can. Now, periodization allows for this kind of individualized gradual progression where you can look at focusing on lifting with a certain kind of rep range, certain kind of tempo, certain kind of set for a couple of weeks, backing off or going up to the next phase and looking at one goal, maybe trying to build muscle, put on some size, and then scaling that back for about 4 to 6 weeks, and then going back into strength training. So you allow yourself to actually tailor your workouts to what your body needs and what your goals are specifically. Now, the second thing that I want you to be aware of, the second tip when it comes to periodization, why it's good and why you need to be doing it, is because it allows you to add variety of intensity in your workouts. Now, one of the things that we know and understand about what gets the body moving, what gets progression going is challenging your body. With challenge comes great change, right? And so periodization is perfect for those of you who are on these strength plateaus that you can't get off of, because you get to mix high intensity training with low intensity training. You get to mix rep ranges in a way that's going to make you step outside of your comfort zone. Now, one of the ways that I like to do this is with what's called undulating rep ranges. Okay, so or undulating periodization within your reps. I know it has a long kind of title there. That's what I call it. And I know there are some other really highly skilled fitness professionals who use this type of approach as well. So let's say you're stuck at 185 pounds with your squat at about 12 repetitions. Now, if you took that and did a few calculations, you would know that your 1 rep max is probably somewhere around 266 pounds. That's a whole lot of weight. And a lot of you are not going to realistically go in the gym and try to 1 rep max all of your weight. But at least knowing that number helps you to know your baseline strength for that specific move. So with your squat, if you're doing 185 pounds and you top off at 12 repetitions, your 1 rep max at 266, you want to be higher than that. You want to probably be able to have a 1 rep max of about 300 pounds. So that's going to mean that if you want to truly see some strength gains in that squat, and you want to see that 1 rep max up a little bit more, let's say you want to be able to squat about 300 or so pounds on that 1 rep max, you're going to have to be able to do 205 to 210 pounds at that 12 repetitions. So really, that's about 20 extra pounds. That's 2 10-pound plates on either side of the bar. But if you're maxing out there and you can't add that on because your form is going to go and you're going to really hurt yourself, that's your max, dude. So what are you going to do to be able to get past that? Well, here's what I would say to you. If you were to keep the weight exactly where it is at 185, but add on some extra repetitions, so instead of 12 reps, you do 15 reps, that pushes your 1 rep max to about 303 pounds. So you were able to go up in that 1 rep max by adding extra repetitions, and those final 3 reps might really be a challenge for you. You might take a couple of weeks to be able to get up to being able to do 13 reps, then 14 reps, then 15 reps with that 185. But in that same amount of weight with the same movement, being able to increase your strength, not by just adding on extra weight, but doing extra reps within your set, has the same kind of impact in seeing your strength increase as well. Eventually, when you're able to actually do that without any problems, the 15 is easy. I bet the next time you go ahead and you hit 20 extra pounds on that bar and you go for that 12 repetitions, you're going to be sitting around that 205 to 210 pound mark. So how I would probably set up that squat as an undulating set is to have you start off with your heaviest weight there. So what we can do to help you to improve this squat using the exact same weight that you're using right now is to perhaps have you go ahead and bump up your squat to be able to do your 185 at 15 repetitions in your set. And let's say we try to divide that up over 3 sets. So let's say that warm-up set, you go ahead, you load up that bar, you squat your 12 that you're already at. You know you've got that solid. You know you can rock that out. Give yourself a few minutes off, and then for the next set, why don't you go ahead and instead of increasing the weight, just go ahead and increase your reps a little bit. Start off by squatting at 13 pounds for the next set. Set number 3, do the same thing. If you get up to 13 and it's too hard for you, do 13 again. If you can do the 14, do the 14. And for your final set, if you're really feeling it, again, you can leave the weight where it is, do the 14 or push it to 15 and keep going with this until that feels solid. Now, another way that you can handle this is going into the actual heavy rep range that's going to help you to get down to that 1 to 5 repetition range, which is your true strength. Now, for some of you, this may be a little dangerous and you've got to be really advanced to be able to do this kind of lifting. But those of you who are already lifting pretty heavy, here's what you can do. Start off your set with that 12 repetitions at 185. And I want you to go ahead and make sure that you max that out, that you really push yourself so that way within that last rep or so, you really feel like you're coming close to failure there. Then I want you to take about 2 minutes off. Now on the second set, you're going to go ahead and add some extra weight on that bar. Now it may be a little bit of weight. Let's say you put 2 5s on both sides. All right. That's 195 pounds, but I want you to keep that 195 at that 12 repetitions and go for your set with a heavier amount of weight on your back while you're doing the same amount of reps. That keeps your constant there, but we're undulating by going up a bit with the weight. So you're starting to take that flat plateau and bring it up. And that's actually going to put your 1 rep max from 266 to about 274. So already you're seeing that increase by simply doing something as simple as moving the weight. Now, for some of you, you may be able to do that for another set or two where you go up 5 or 10 more pounds, but there may be those of you out there who cannot move any more weight than that. You're topped off. But guess what I want you to do for set number 3 in that case? Go ahead and increase your reps. So even if you left the weight exactly where it is, let's say you're squatting about 195 there, up from that 185, you're going to go ahead, instead of doing 12 repetitions, you're going to go ahead with the 15 repetition range if you can do it safely without injury. That's going to bump your 1 rep max to over 300 pounds right there. So it doesn't take a whole bunch to bring the body to the next level and to see the change that you want to see. You just have to know how to set up your reps, your tempo, your sets, your rest periods in order to make this happen. And that's where undulating periodization comes in. The third tip I'm going to tell you is that you must keep track of things with a notebook. I can't believe how many people do not track their workouts when they're training. Like, are you insane? How can you say you want to be stronger when you're not even tracking what's going on? You got to track, you got to know what's going on in your workouts. Carry a notebook with you and make a record of every rep, every set, every tempo that you're playing around with in the gym. It's going to help you to really just hone in on what your body needs. This is especially important when you're using this periodized approach. And I want you to sit down and write out a schedule for yourself. Maybe you're going to spend 4 weeks where you do more high intensity type of training that plays around with muscular endurance. So you stay in that high rep range, anywhere 15 and above for your workouts. Fantastic. Circuit training and more. And then for 4 weeks, you go ahead, you go and focus on an 8 to 12 repetitions using undulating periodization, using things like drop sets, pyramids, and more to challenge your body. You do that for about 4 6 week period. And then for another 4 to 6 weeks after that, then you go into heavier loads, anywhere between 1 and 5 repetitions or so, or 1 to about 6 repetitions in your sets. When you take that kind of approach, you write it out, you spell it out, you know when the start and stop is, it helps you to go ahead and program your workouts in a way that's going to keep you moving forward. You avoid overtraining. You can program rest periods into there and really see your body take off in the way that it needs to. The fourth tip I have is going to go to nutrition and recovery. You know, everyone always thinks that you got to put in the work in the gym. You got to go ahead and train hard. You got to push heavy. You got to do all these things. But you're not building anything in the gym, my dear. You're tearing tissue down. You're tearing down the central nervous system. You're doing everything that's catabolic. The anabolic portion happens when you come out, you recover, you eat, you train yourself to be still. And that is a skill that so many of you need to acquire, how to be still, how to rest. Recovery is where it's at, you guys. Getting in your post-workout, making sure that you have the nutrients that you need throughout the day to be able to see the strength gains that you want. Some of you are on diets where you're cutting carbs down all the way and you're wondering why your body is not able to respond. You got to have some carbohydrates in the body as well to be able to train heavy and in order to recover, because carbs do play as an important role as anything else, any other macronutrient that you consume. So just being smart about how you're approaching your nutrition is a really important part of this process. Eat to be lean, eat to be strong, eat to have the body of your dreams. Food is your greatest ally. It is not your worst enemy in this game. And the final tip that I'm going to have is going to go right back to where I kind of started at the beginning of this. And that is not being afraid to know when to seek help, particularly for advanced trainees. I know it's really easy to get into this mindset that you've got it, you understand, you know everything that you need to know about training. But there's always somebody who knows more than you, particularly people like myself who are experts in our field. We spend time, the money, the effort to be certified, to go ahead and have like journals that we subscribe to attend conferences and more, work with other fitness professionals that can help you to tap into a knowledge base that you just simply don't have, that you can learn. You can learn it from someone, but sometimes you do need that extra help. And I want to encourage you to not be afraid to reach out for that. That's what we're here for. And any trainer that's worth their weight in gold is going to train you and coach you in a way to become independent so you understand and know your body. And that's at least the way that I am. That's why I do these videos and leave them out here free for the public to be able to learn from. And if you choose to come and work with me, we can take these things deeper and see how they apply to you. So these are the things that you need to do to get off a strength plateau, step outside of your comfort zone, and really push yourself in a way that's getting real results for you. But speaking of overtraining, I talked about that here on my channel, and I'm going to keep talking about it until you guys stop training yourself to death. So if you have not watched that video, make sure that you go ahead and you watch it right over here. Get into it, guys. Train smarter, not just harder. I will see you over there.